I know. I saw the S5 ending and it was ridiculous. But then I noticed this. After Butcher died, he woke up from sleep. He had the worst nightmare. This is what really happened next.
Butcher had a glimpse of a future possibility where he died without fulfilling his goals. The main targets to end were Homelander, Vought, and Edgar, the chicken shop owner. So, when the boys were walking in the tunnel, Billy secretly optimized his plans. By the way, Oh Father never died. Before could gag him, he sensed the danger. He bit down on it and released the scream through his back with terrifying intensity. That's right. All thanks to the big toys. Ashley must be proud. Anyways, was torn apart and gone in seconds. Hughie got scared and screamed No, no, no. He couldn't run or do anything against Father. That's when Starlight came for help and gave a heavy blow to Father's jaws. A clear uppercut enough to damage him. It wasn't enough. Oh Father gave a counterattack, a punch straight to her tummy. But Starlight got up again.
If not now, then never.
That's what she thought. So, she charged up her strongest attack. Oh Father smiled and prepared to use his powerful sonic scream. But Starlight's energy overwhelmed him, blasting him backward and crashing him to the floor. And for the first time, Starlight got serious and made a decision.
Finish this man or lose the love of her life, Hughie.
She didn't hesitate. She grabbed a metal piece, electrified it with her powers, and flew straight at Father, piercing his head and splitting his skull open. Hughie approached. He wasn't shocked. He smiled, and they both hugged. Hughie hinted at the idea of flying away after this is over, and to protect her from the supe virus. Back to Billy and Kimiko. Both were prepared to take down V1 Homelander. Billy fought very seriously while Kimiko was hiding behind the door. Of course, Homelander noticed but didn't bother. At least, that's how it seemed until he rushed toward Kimiko and punched her chest 3 times, before blasting her head with heat vision until she fell down. He then jokingly said, "Butcher, is that all? I've already seen her with Sage in the zinc-lined box. I left her to see what you guys would do. Too pathetic, really." While Homelander was talking, Kimiko stood up. For a few seconds, her body stopped moving completely, but the radiation boost had changed her regeneration. Her burnt flesh slowly started rebuilding itself in disturbing ways. She locked in on Homelander. Her top was tearing off from the heat and her chest started glowing in gold. With the top burned away and those balloons out, Homelander looked at her size in dismay. "You don't have what it takes to defeat me." He immediately grabbed her and flew straight into space. He tore apart her boobs, broke her limbs one by one, and held her beating heart in his hand before crushing it. Then he drove his other hand through her skull, crushing her brain completely, leaving her drifting in space. 12 seconds later, he returned to the room with a bloody smile on his face. Billy and Homelander fought again, more intensely. Suddenly Ryan broke through the window. He was about to deliver a heavy punch to Homelander's spine. But Homelander sensed this and kicked away Billy while blocking his son's punch. He's truly invincible, everyone thought as they watched him fight on live TV. Billy came from behind and pulled Homelander's cape, crashing him to the floor. Homelander got back up. He got irritated over his son betraying him, and Butcher attacking him. He went out of the room, blasted his heat vision over people in the White Room. He went outside and blasted his heat vision around the White House, burning everything away. Cars, roads, greens, buildings, and people. Some argued why he only unleashed his rage around the White House, instead of destroying the entire city, or even the world. Could it be that Homelander was never capable of feats on that scale? And why was he so obsessed with becoming a god when nobody truly saw him as one?
The answer is simple. Homelander is still just a broken kid inside. Even after the power boost with V1 and his dream of becoming a god, he never had any real emotional control. And seeing his own son fight against him completely broke whatever was left inside.
Part of him wanted to let loose. Part of him wanted someone to finally stop him. With both anger and sorrow on his face, he screamed, "Ryan, are you fighting for them?" while destroying everything in his path. Ryan got mad for the second time, but this time, his cells began reacting differently. He charged up his heat vision and instantly flew toward Homelander, delivering a brutal 3-hit combo punch, twisting Homelander's torso from the impact. It's known that Ryan is naturally as powerful as a V1 supe, and when consumed by emotional rage, he can grow 30% more stronger, especially if he fully learned to use his powers. Ryan delivered another brutal combo attack, punching his face, torso, and landing a devastating blow to the same area again. He didn't stop. He kept punching harder until Homelander's torso began twisting from the impact. Then, Ryan kicked straight into that damaged area, leaving a hole in his stomach. Blood poured out and Homelander finally looked weak. But deep inside, Homelander could still overpower him. He chose not to. Part of him wanted everything to end. Ryan then choked him by the neck and brought him down to the ground near the White House. Billy stood on top of the building, laughing as he watched. Ryan came closer to Homelander's face and said, "I'll put an end to you, even if you're stronger." At that moment, Billy jumped down from the building and delivered a heavy blow to Homelander, weakening him even further. Billy and Ryan still couldn't kill him on their own. As they were fighting, Marie and Cate arrived.
You won't get away with this! Stay down! I'll make you pay!
Marie made a strong blood prison around Homelander using Billy's supe blood and the blood of the dead bodies scattered nearby. Cate finally had the opportunity to touch Homelander's leg, enough to control him. Billy activated the virus and released it inside the blood prison. At the same time, Cate manipulated Homelander's mind as if the virus was milk while Madeline was comforting and cherishing him. Homelander lost himself in the illusion, and eventually the virus kicked in, killing him instantly. By the way, let's not forget the Deep. Before Starlight killed O'Father, he pushed the Deep into the water. At first, the Deep was scared, but he was not pathetic in water. He loved sea creatures deeply and would do anything for them. Big fish and octopuses surrounded him, ready to attack him. The Deep looked down, feeling sad before launching a brutal combo attack against everything surrounding him. He bit down a shark to prove he's stronger than him, while crying in tears for hurting him. Heavy kicks and punches followed. Deep made a powerful supersonic water clap, strong enough to tear apart his beloved sea friends. Blood spread across the ocean, and many of his friends died again. He cried because he never saved them throughout all seasons of The Boys, and now he had to end them. After that, the Deep was casually swimming in the water, waiting for him. Xander the shark joined the chat. Nick voiced the shark in this episode. If you didn't know, he has no powers, but he has a lot of contacts and resources. He's a skilled strategist and a tactical genius. He prefers smart plans over brute force. He doesn't fight monsters. Instead, he builds powerful teams and makes them handle the problem. If a world-ending threat showed up, he'd press one button and Captain Marvel would arrive. With such an opponent, the Deep has no
Threat
chance.
is active. Not on my watch. Deploy the team.
Xander had previously observed the Deep carefully. His movements, his emotions, his weak spots. Xander coordinated a surprise attack with his team. A giant squid wrapped around Deep's arms to slow him down. Fast swordfish attacked his eyes from different directions. Electric eels shocked his body every few seconds, interrupting his movements. The Deep was cornered. Massive whales blocked every escape route underwater. However, the Deep punched away the squid and hit a shark. He laughed for a second, only to realize it was a distraction. Suddenly, several octopuses wrapped tightly around his legs and dragged him deeper into the ocean. At the same time, two great white sharks ripped into his shoulders, tearing chunks of flesh away. Deep screamed and tried communicating with them, but nobody listened anymore. That's when the memories hit him. He was the cause for all destruction. He remembered the innocent dolphin, Lucy the whale, and that live lobster in the supermarket. He shed tears and couldn't stop crying. Even though he didn't destroy the oil pipeline himself, he admitted that he never truly protected his sea friends. He quietly told everyone to be careful around humans. Then Xander rammed directly into the Deep's chest at full speed while giant squids restrained his arms completely. A shark bit off his right hand. Another tore apart his left leg. The Deep accepted his fate. Meanwhile, Marie held the blood prison together to prevent the virus from spreading. But her nose started to bleed and she couldn't hold it for long.
What's next, guys?
She asked. Starlight arrived at the scene. She grabbed Marie along with the prison and flew up. They noticed a lake near the White House and decided it'd be safe to bury the virus underwater. Starlight flew toward the Potomac River. Both the girls carried the blood prison deep underwater and buried it beneath the riverbed, far from civilians. After that, Starlight carried Marie to the sea surface, and they left for Edgar's secret bunker. As planned, they underwent a full-body checkup to ensure the virus hadn't infected them. Back to Billy and Ryan. The duo was relieved to see Homelander gone. Cate was relaxing and taking a break. Ryan said, "It's over, Butcher." Butcher replied, "You take care, this is just the beginning." He left the scene. He walked to the road, found a usable car and sat in. By the way, let's rewind and look at Noir too. He never actually died, even though blood poured out of his neck. He simply faked his death to escape everything. He was done with Vought, superheroes, suits, and fake hero life. More than anything, he hated taking orders and living under fear. So, after the Deep stabbed him, Noir too secretly contacted his old friends from Godalkin University. One of them hacked the building's security system and froze the cameras for a few minutes, making it appear like no movement had happened inside and outside the room after Noir two's death. Meanwhile, another supe used their powers to create a realistic body double of Noir 2. Blood continued pouring from the fake body's neck, making the death look completely real. With the fake body remained on the table, Noir 2 quietly removed his suit and thanked his supe friend. He carried his friend and flew out through the window into the night, escaping Vought. Or so he thought. Later that day, Vaught's doctors performed a full post-mortem examination. They ran DNA tests, tissue analysis, blood matching, organ scans, and several verification procedures. Everything matched Noir 2's records perfectly. The doctors officially declared Noir 2 dead. What they didn't know was that the body double's powers were designed to perfectly replicate a person's biological traits for a limited time. The fake body could remain stable for up to 80 hours before slowly breaking down. Whether Vought eventually discovered the truth remains unknown. That's how Noir 2 fooled everyone. Anyway, he went to Missouri and started living a peaceful life under a new identity. He hid his powers unless somebody truly needed help. For the first time in years, he finally felt normal. He even became the lead actor in an underground cinema theater. Life went smoothly until Cecil showed up. Black vehicles surrounded the area. Government agents stepped out. Then Cecil approached Noir and said, "We're building Earth's defense. A war is coming, and Homelander was nothing compared to what's out there." Noir 2 declined. He told the suit man to leave. Cecil smirks, opens a classified folder, and says, "I don't need a hero, son. I need an actor. I need someone who can play the part of a savior so perfectly that the public doesn't panic while my people handle the real threat." He added, saying, "It's a short contract, and you choose your costume." Noir 2 stared at the classified folder, then back at the suit man. He thought about the staging, the lighting, and the sheer narrative weight of the performance the suit man was pitching. "All right, suit man," Noir 2 said, throwing his arms open wide in a grand, sweeping gesture. He added, "But I have conditions. I design my costume, and my character needs a proper tragic backstory monologue. If I'm saving the world, I'm doing it with style." Cecil couldn't help but chuckle. "Deal. Let's move." Back to Butcher. Within 5 hours, he reached Edgar's bunker. Covered in blood. Eyes tired. He walked into the bunker calmly while alarms rang everywhere. Edgar already knows his coming. And unlike Homelander, Edgar doesn't look scared. Edgar has always believed that supes are replaceable and corporations survive everything. Meanwhile, Hughie and a team of special forces entered Vought Tower and planted several explosives amidst the chaos. Explosives inside the tower, labs, transport centers, and hidden supe testing facilities. Likewise, Starlight left the secret bunker to place explosives across Vaught's connections throughout the USA. Sadly, her power reserves were almost empty, so all she could do was fly and continue setting up bombs. Not only that, Sam went on to attack various Vought bases and contacts across the world, destroying everything and everyone with his super strength. Finally, Hughie sent Billy a pager text, which reads, "It's done." Billy then knocked Edgar and took him down to the deepest floors of the bunker. As Billy ventured deeper into the bunker, he discovered frozen embryos, Vought successor projects, new experimental babies, stronger V compound versions, and ultimately a backup of Homelander DNA. This horrified him. In a blind rage, he twisted Edgar's right arm and kept walking. His tentacles lashed out toward Edgar's granddaughter, who had been following them. Butcher yelled at her to run away. And she did. He then tied Edgar to a metal rod, and placed Vaught's experimental papers and liquids all around him. Edgar smiled and said, "Even if you kill me, another company or an entity would replace me. Business will continue as usual." Billy responded, "Maybe, but they won't have your bloody labs." Billy overloaded the bunker reactors. Edgar tried to maintain composure but finally panicked. Meanwhile, Hughie and Starlight remotely activated several bombs, destroying Vought facilities one by one. TV news channels across the world began showing live footage of Vought buildings burning and collapsing. Billy showed Edgar the live footage of all Vought buildings destroyed. Edgar finally realized everything was truly over. Minutes later, a huge explosion tore through the bunker, destroying the lower floors completely. Billy lies on the open ground, almost dead, even with his amplified supe strength. Near him lay a broken Montblanc pen, one that Edgar always carried. Hughie then spoke via the comms. Butcher. Butcher. It all went up. It's over. Are you there? Butcher held the comm close to his heart as he finally closed his eyes. He whispered, Becca, I'm done. Wait for me. Before dying peacefully, finally at peace. On the other hand, Frenchie's death and the radiation boost made Kimiko more resilient to extreme injuries. She somehow healed even in space. She blasted a radiation wave in the opposite direction to push herself back toward the Earth's atmosphere. She went flying backwards towards the Earth from the impact. Her skin was tearing, her clothes were tearing, and she couldn't breathe properly. Yet she was determined to live. She wasn't able to move. She had no idea where she was going to land. But still, she reached the first layer of the Earth's atmosphere, and she saw clouds so close for the first time. Turns out, she wasn't reaching the US. Around 450 kilometers from the ground level, she was able to flip her body and brace herself for landing. She landed somewhere in an European street corner and was clueless. Her clothes were almost torn, and her skin still glowed faintly from the radiation. She had broken her limbs while landing but healed up quickly.
What's life without Frenchie?
She thought. She quietly walked to the nearby store, grabbed some random clothes, and walked to the restaurant. A young 20-year-old Italian guy approached her on the street and said, Hi, you look goofy. Are you not cold? Kimiko laughed for the first time in a long while. He looked like Frenchie but was smarter and younger. She touched her hair, giggling as he spoke to her. And the two of them sat in a restaurant, eating food. Meanwhile, Starlight and Hughie opened a store, and she was pregnant with his child. Hughie said, if it's a girl, her name will be Robin. Starlight nodded yes. And finally, Ryan and Zoe were seen holding hands and walking in the mall.